Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Hera's Guide to 2K Definitive Edition. Today we're going to be covering 1500 to 1600 ELO. I'm going to start grouping them in terms of 200 groups now because there's just so much to learn in this kind of portion of your ranked, I guess, experience. If you're at this ELO, there's a lot of things that you have to consider, that you have to focus on, and I want you guys to have a little bit of time to work on them. So I give you guys 200 ELO range to really get these ideas down. I want to also preface it by saying that everything we've learned beforehand we need to really know, because we're going to constantly be using it. The stuff you learned at 1100, you don't just drop it. You're like, oh, I'm 1500 now, I don't need that. No, we still need the basics. We're just going to add to it now. So it's cumulative. It's not like the stuff we talked about before is irrelevant. I also want to say that if you're 1100 and you see something I'm talking about here that you think you can improve your game, feel free to use it. I'm just saying this is a guide on what you guys should focus on and not a 100% factual. These are only the things you need to learn. So again, if you're like 1100 watching this, you're still able to learn some stuff and take it away and help your game. Alright, so without further ado, let's hop right into it and see what I got prepared for us today. So for 1500 to 1600 ELO, now we're going to start dictating our strategy based on the kind of map we have. So I'm going to be picking a flexible civ. I'm going to be picking Magyars. I already talked about how they can already do archers and they can do scouts. They can also do men-at-arms very well. Magyars are kind of a jack of all trades in terms of their opening strategy. So that being said, I'm going to pick them and I'm going to show you guys how to pick your strategy based on your map. Not only that, we're going to base it on the civ matchup as well. So this is learning how to read the matchup and how to read the map correctly to pick a proper strategy. Let's go ahead and fix our current ELO. That's going to be 1500 to 1600. And that's going to be quite good. So it's covering up a little bit of space there, but that's okay. Hopefully that's not too bad. So, like I said, it's going to be a lot about reading the game in the early game to decide which strategy we want to go for. In Castle Age, we're going to be focusing on using our power spikes to our advantage, meaning when we're getting extra upgrades, we want to take fights based on the upgrades we're getting. So if I'm waiting for the crossbow upgrade to kick in, I'm going to attack with Feudal Age archers until there's a threat. Then I'm going to back up and save my army to Castle Age. I've been doing this a lot this series, but I'm really going to focus on it this this particular episode, and I'm also going to be using a lot of upgrade power spikes. So if I get like a +2 armor, I'm going to look to take more fights. If I get Thumbering, I'll look to take more fights. And before that, I'll be a conservative while I get my upgrades in. Next thing I'm talking about is controlling hills in Castle Age so that you can lead to forward siege pushes, and it gives you map control in general to be able to make attacks to either side if you control the hill in the center. So I'm going to be really looking at places to get forward buildings in Castle Age. Up until now, I've been just saying, boom, in your own base, 3 TCs, don't move out until late castle in Imperial Age. But now I'm going to show that if you just get one villager out and make a siege workshop forward, it can actually help a lot in terms of putting the pressure on your opponent. You also have to harass your opponent constantly and always move around the map with military. So I'm going to show you guys how to control the sides of the map as well, and not just attack down the center with your military. So again, this is just an expansion on what we already talked about beforehand. And we're going to learn to trade army efficiently. So we're going to talk about taking good trades, what makes something a good trade. So before we were running away from spearmen, now we're going to try to out-micro spearmen, take an efficient trade, because losing our army is okay, as long as we get a good trade out of it. I'm also going to be talking about what's a good trade with our knights in Castle Age. Instead of just having them run under the TC blindly, I'll run under the TC with a plan in mind, and I'll run back my low HP knights to kill them with monks and get more efficient trades. Again, using army efficiently, very important. A lot of tips for that today, or in this episode. And then finally, we're going to talk about army compositions in the late game. So I really need to emphasize what kind of military we can really play with in the late game, and the types of combinations we will be going for as well. So I'm going to be doing this all against the Extreme AI, and let's hop into it. Again, the important thing is not whether I can beat the Extreme AI or not. That's not what we care about. The important thing is really just showcasing these verbal tips in a practical game, and just using the Extreme AI as just someone to have there as well. So again, that's not really too much of a big deal. Let's just hop right into it and bring it all together. Alright, so the start will be the exact same as every single start up to now. We've talked about this since episode 1. You start and you make 2 houses, and then you explore your base. Obviously, now we've done this start about a few hundred times now. If you're at this ELO, you've definitely played a few hundred games under your belt. And so you've got a pretty good understanding of what exactly you want to do in the Dark Age. So again, Dark Age, I'm not going to talk too much about it. So now that our Dark Age is good, and it's basically second nature, we can start thinking about the Civ matchup, okay? So we're Magyars, our opponent is actually going to be the Vikings. So generally speaking, Vikings are lacking bloodlines, okay? Lacking bloodlines means that they're less likely to go heavy on scouts, and they're less likely to play heavy on knights and castle age, meaning that they're more likely to play with some archers and skirmishers, and maybe even some spearmen or some men-at-arms in feudal age, because they get extra HP there. So I'm expecting either infantry or range units from them. And for me personally, as Magyars, well, I've got a few options, right? I can open strong men-at-arm rush, but my best thing is to go for some scouts. So if possible, I will go scouts, unless my map is terrible for scouts. So we're going to take a look at it, and I'm going to show you guys what makes a good map for scouts and what makes a bad map for scouts. Alright, so let's take this wood line. Again, I would take this wood regardless with strategy. Now I have to decide what strategy I'm going to do, though. Well, this is going to be the first position I'm going to decide, because I'm about to send my third to wood. And if I want to make a archer rush, so I pause now. If I want to make an archer rush, I need actually 4 to wood. But if I want to make a scout rush, it's only 3 to wood. So at this moment in time, 2 minutes 30 seconds is when you want to actually tell yourself: do you want archers, or do you want men at arm archers, or do you want scouts? Well, let's take a look. I noticed I've got a back gold. I've also got a backwood, and well, 2 backwoods in fact, and I've got an easy way to wall. So right away, my map tells me that if I want to go archers, it's very easy. In fact, I've got the back gold, so that I'm not going to be exposed in going for archers. So I can easily go archers here, take the gold at the back, and use the 2 wood lines as a natural wall, and then just wall towards my TC near my berries, for example. And that sets up my map in a perfect position for archers. That being said, do I really want to be going archers against a civ like Vikings, who would just simply do archers better than me because they get free wheelbarrow? And they get archers that are, really, really solid, just the same as mine, basically. We both get full upgrades, but they get better eco bonus for them. If I do archers, I wouldn't actually be using my free forging and my cheaper scouts, and I wouldn't be using, or free forging, free, attack upgrade, and I wouldn't be using my cheaper scouts. So I'm basically playing into the strengths of Vikings. So all that into consideration, although my map is good for archers, I don't want to be doing that against Vikings. So for that reason, I'm going to be going scouts based on the civ matchup. My map is also good for scouts because I got back berries. If I had forward berries, well, then scouts is maybe the most practical thing, because if I get harassed, then I'm losing my food income. So that's something to consider. Back gold means it's good for archers. Forward berries means it's bad for scouts. If you have bad gold and forward berries, back gold and forward berries, going archers makes more sense, even if maybe it's a bad matchup for it. Alright, so very nice. Hopefully that made a lot of sense. If you guys have any questions, you can just drop them in the chat now, or you can wait for the YouTube comments and I'll answer them in the comments, because now it's getting into the complex position of the game, where it's a lot more, it's less like it's 100% fact, just do it and trust me, and it's more about like, you have to actually understand what you're doing, because if you don't, you're not going to know when to do what, basically, if that makes sense. So now I'm going to do the advanced spoiler, and just let my scout, or let my villagers work on the cow here. Good, and I'm going to make my houses in terms of wall. All this we've covered in past episodes, so don't really worry about it just yet. And there it is, and we're going to go ahead and pull up the board real quick. Okay, very nice. So now I've decided I want to do scouts. I've scouted my map, and I've got 1 gold, 1 stone, 1 stone. I'm missing 1 gold. I don't know where the other gold is. Oh, there it is. Yep, so I found everything. Let's go back and scout my opponent now. Alright. So again, you base the strategy based on your opponent's civ and based on your map. We don't base it on our opponent's map just yet. The initial opening is based purely off your map and off the civ matchup, because we don't have time to scout our opponent's map. Look, I'm going now, it's 5 minutes. I've already decided I want to do scouts. I can't change it now. I can't just go archers. I don't have the right wood, the right people on wood for it. It's going to be slow, and it's not going to be done right. So we'll commit to scouts, and then I'll adapt based on my opponent's map. Alright, going to go for the advanced boiler once again, just to be a little bit more efficient. And then I'm going to go ahead and get my scouts on the front. Very good. Or sorry, not my scouts on the front. My house is on the front. I'm just figuring out how I want to wall. I'm going to wall like this, though. There it is, and I'm going to scout near wood lines. Notice how this whole series, I never ran into my opponent's town center. Not because I'm insane with the scout, it's just because I've scouted near stuff that the TC cannot be. If you had bad barriers and you're against Vikings, as for example, better to do FC with skirm defense. Fast castles is a good tool to pull out from your back pocket if you have a good map. But generally speaking, going fast castle will leave you pretty vulnerable to feudal pressure. So I won't recommend it unless you have a really easy map to wall. All right. So if you have a bad map, in any way possible, I don't recommend that you go for the fast castle. And that's why I didn't cover it today, because it is really something that is only possible if you have a really good map. Alright, so again, the build order literally always works because that's what makes it a build order. It turns it into a very consistent series of actions that leads to the same and similar results every single time, with minor nuances between them depending on, villager walk time and all that kind of stuff. But again, it's literally the exact same build order I'm doing every time. And now we want to go for our house and then our barracks on the front. I've walled this. I'm going to go ahead and wall a little bit earlier this time, because if I wall this area, all of a sudden that whole map on the left side is full walled, or the right side, sorry. So now I can maybe position some spears here to defend, and as soon as I wall this side, I'll be completely walled towards my TC, and that's what I want. Okay, so again, there's 2 woodlands here. Let's scout here as far as places to attack him from. Get our second villa here to finish our barracks and to go make our stable. Right? So now I'm using 1 villa off the wood to wall. This makes me have less wood. If your opponent runs into your TC, you can garrison. All right, very nice. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and make a house and then make a stable. Okay, I see my point of going to gold, so that means, that tells me he wants to go archers. Obviously, this is an AI, so it doesn't really matter, but that's the kind of things you can be looking for when you're scouting your own in your own games. I'll get my stable down, and because I walled early, I can't afford my eco upgrades right away. But that's okay. I thought it would be worth it to wall early and avoid. Even, despite having less wood now. Cool, and alright, there it is. We'll continue walling our map with 1 vill. This vill can go back to this woodline, making it so I have 5 on each woodline. I actually have only 4. No, I have 5 there, so I'm good there. And I'll make some scouts while getting horse collar now. So now I've got the option, by the way, to go scouts into knights. I can also go scouts into skirms. I could also adapt and go scouts into archers if I really felt like it. It really depends on the situation, and I'm going to show you guys how to adapt and decide based on what your opponent is doing. That's, again, one of the things we're going to be talking about today. And as soon as we get enough wood for a farm, we're going to drop it. There it is. There it is. Cool. Alright, we can chase that scout around and prepare to attack him at his gold. So again, the aggression will be the same. Very nice. We'll continue making scouts. Again, just standard builder here. I've showcased it so many times today, so many times in this series that you guys should all know it by now. This vill will just finish walling that side, and I'll be fully walled. And after I'm fully walled, I can stop making scouts. Now, you don't have to stop making scouts. To adapt, what you can do is pretty much just go, if you see your opponent is not fully walled, you can go for a lot of scouts yourself and get bloodlines in Feudal Age. That's another valid strategy that we're going to be talking about at this ELO range. Because again, everyone knows builders at this point. We're playing against people that know builders. So to win, we have to surprise them. Think outside the box. So my opponent, well, let's figure it out. Let's attack him and see what exactly he's doing. And then I'll adapt based on what he's doing, straight up. I don't know what he's going to do. It's an extreme AI. I could do anything, really. So I see some villagers here. Let's attack. So again, we're going to keep our scouts and stand ground. So they attack the same targets. I think they're on... Oh, sorry. I think they're on aggressive. We can even get into some blocking here real quick. There it is. Alright, so some nice micro. We talked about this micro beforehand, and that's very nice. So we get a villager. We'll run away from the spears for now. I see him making some militia as well. That's really weird. But yeah, we'll just go ahead and make some farms now. And then we'll go to gold. At this point, I have to decide, do I want skirmishers or not? Well, I only see 1 forward gold. So he has gold in the back, meaning, so if I go for skirmisher transition, I'm going to do a lot of damage in Feudal Age. But if he just goes to the back golds, maybe I can't get damage. So for that reason, let's not go skirmishers. But on the other hand, he does have a lot of spears, so it is tempting to go skirmishers for that reason, to take out the spears. I'm going to continue trying to avoid them here. And I'm going to continue going for the, the standard villagers on gold. So I decided not to go skirms, but it would have been valid to go skirms to kill the spear. If that was your idea, then that's a valid idea. Notice how there's no right and wrong anymore. There's good plays, there's bad plays, there's some plays that are, you know, a bit riskier, but there's no right and wrong. There's no absolute best play I could do. Alright, so I'm going to just go scouts into knights here. Why? Because I'm safe at home fully. He has only spearmen, and I can just simply run around them, no archers. And then I can just simply go for faster knights and be completely safe in doing so. So once you get 5 on gold, that's the lucky number. We're going to go ahead and click wheelbarrow. Alright, can't get that one. Just running around here quickly, picking up some scouts, picking up some vills. You've seen me doing this so many times at this point. And again, I'm just completely adapting to what I'm seeing. No range, meaning no reason for me to go skirmishers here. Spearmen aren't really hurting me. No archers. I've actually trapped this villager. That's pretty insane, actually. Sorry about that. Yeah, whoops. That was my fault. That's the kind of thing we do at 1500 Elo, Kappa. Alright, so go ahead and get that gate there. Kill villagers. And look, spearmen are just so useless in Feudal Age. Look, they do nothing. They do literally nothing here. So, again, I really want to highlight that. Scouts are used for their mobility. You just get them on stand ground, you run around, and you completely terrorize your opponent here at his base. And it just makes it so strong. We can afford farms, so we're going to go ahead and do them. And we'll go ahead and click up now as fast as we can. Very nice. We've clicked up as fast as we can now. This villager, well, we'll make another farm with her. Actually, no, what we should do, sorry, that's not another farm. That's another one on gold. And if a farm runs out, I'll send it to gold because we're going to need 7 on gold for our bloodlines. Continue raiding, and I went scouts into knights. Why? Because I'm fully walled. Why? Because he didn't make archers, so I didn't need skirmishers. And why did I go scouts? Well, because my opponent is Vikings, and it makes more sense in the Civ matchup for me to make use of scouts and not make use of any archers. If, for example, I'm playing against a Civ like Byzantine, who's going to go for a skirm spear forward, for example, a wacky strategy, it might be better for me to go men at arms instead. All right. So just to not kill the AI, because I do want to talk about forward siege in this episode, I'm going to just go ahead and scout the rest of the map. This is something you can do if your opponent is fully walled. So I'm going to give you the scenario. Imagine the AI is fully walled now, and I can't do any more damage. Use your extra scouts to either poke at the walls and force him to repair, or to pick up, or to scout the rest of the map. As you can see, I'm getting my armor. I would get the attack, but Maggers get it for free. And now I'm going to simply scout the rest of the map, okay? So again, to scout the rest of the map, you just go into split formation or wide formation, and you can clearly scout the rest of the map here. Why do we scout the rest of the map? Why is the size of the map important? Well, there's extra resources for late game that you can make use of. There's relics that are sprinkled across the map, 5 total that you can find, and that give you an extra trickle of gold infinitely or indefinitely as long as you keep them in a monastery. The purpose of scouting the map is to find extra stuff like this and make use of the resources on the map instead of just playing directly against your opponent, head to head. Because think about it. Let's say I do this and my opponent didn't do this, then I can get literally free relics. I can get the relics I found. I can pick them up for free, and I can send vills to take the stone later in the game, and my opponent doesn't even know they're there. So I get free resources, which is very important in the long term. So again, scouting their whole map is very important, and let's continue doing so. Once I get the castle age, it's the same. I'm getting upgrades, I'm making units. I'm lacking a little bit of gold actually, so my builder, you guys see, is not perfect because they didn't have 7 on gold. I had only 6, and even the smallest thing like that can make or change or make or break a build, right? Okay, or not make or break, but can affect the builder, right? I should say. So that's another town center on a town center on another wood line, and now I need a town center on a secondary gold. Feel free to break out your walls at this point and get one there. So we went for 3 town centers, and now we're gonna go for a standard knights. Again, let's pretend he's fully walled. So I'm not gonna attack him. He's fully walled now. So I can try to poke at his walls maybe. Again, I'm just giving you guys this as a scenario. Imagine he's fully walled. He's not, but imagine. What would be the next step? Well, the next step is just to get some military on the field to defend yourself. He might have some military as well, so you can trade against him. And you can simply get your boom like normal. The only difference is I'm not going to be attacking with my knights, or I can't attack into him because he's walled, which is fine. What you can do is poke at his walls, or just, in this case, I will wait since there's no actual walls. We're just, pretending that there is in a sense. Alright, so I'll get my 3TC boom as standard, as regular, as normal. And now I want to spend my resources, but more so than that, I want to try and see if I can control the game. I'm going to need some siege in order to get into the wall or to break his buildings. So at this point, what I can do is send 1 vill forward and find a place on the map where I can attack him from. Siege excels from attacking from a hill. So if I can find any hill on his map, that's the best way to attack. Looking around, it's actually quite a flat map as well. So the only place I can find a hill is here. And that's not really attacking a whole lot of resources. Like, I'm attacking the stone, I'm not attacking any buildings. It's not a great place to attack from. This place from the front, much better, because there's a gold in the front and there's a lot of military production buildings that I can take out. Alright, so let's go ahead and bring in the siege workshop on the front, and that should be a really good place to attack our opponent's map from. Again, if for example we had a back gold, you'd maybe attack from the side here and come in to attack his wood. The point is, you sneak one villager and you build a siege workshop at the place that's most logical, in his face, and you defend it with your units. So that's a way to make use of the castle age in a way that's more than just boom. And we're going to need now our Sandy, which is our villager. It could be a Bob. Let's take a Bob this time. I'm taking a lot of Sandys. And that's going to be our house villager. Now, what I will say is that if you have a villager forward, she automatically becomes your Sandy. So as soon as I have, so maybe I'll just make one scout here. It's actually going to still be a Sandy here. So let's just pretend for argument's sake he's fully walled. It's still going to be a Sandy. You'll make houses on the front. Alright? Because it's better than keeping her idle. Alright? Now we'll make monks and we'll pick up the relics that we scouted earlier. Notice how much more I'm doing in Castle Age now. If you watch back to the earlier parts of the series, you'll notice that I didn't have this many things going on in Castle Age. Castle Age just said spend your resources. But now that we're getting a little bit higher in level, I want to bring to your attention that there's a lot more you can do in Castle Age. Forward siege, taking the map control and booming behind it is a very good way of keeping your opponent in his base and letting you get the whole map. Also, we'll pick up the relics on the sides and get infinite gold that way. Generally speaking, mangonels are the most flexible forward siege option because they're able to break buildings and they're able to take out units if you use the attack ground feature. So it's definitely the most impactful one, but rams and scorpions could be good to mix in there as well. It depends on the situation. Meanwhile, I'm going to continue making knights and spending my resources. These basic things don't change from builder to builder, okay? We can even adapt to make another lumber camp here, continue spending our resources, and now that we have a mangonel, we can break into his make-believe walls, or we can pressure him further and start taking out his buildings. So we'll attack around some villages as well. Cool. So the idea of this is that you can use your siege now to take out archers and mass spearmen, and then you use your knights to defend your siege from any opponent, pretty much. So you actually can get really good trades with this, and you force your opponent to fight you at his base. So if he makes any mistake, then you can just completely attack his base and take out his villagers. If he chooses not to attack you, well, then you're outside his base, you can just completely kill him. So you see how this forces your opponent's hand to take a bad fight like this, potentially. Now, obviously, this is an AI who's not going to be playing well. But it's still a good representation of what could happen in a real game if you pressure him. Meanwhile, at home, don't let your economy slip behind this. We want to still spend our resources. Keep these things as low as possible. Pick up more relics as well. He's picked up this one. Go pick up this one. Bring that back. Let's go pick up this one. Very nice. Tab back to our military. And now we can simply break into his walls, take out his buildings, and completely break him in Castle Age. If he's making knights, or sorry, if he's making pikes, we'll adapt. We'll make a couple more scorpions maybe. We'll get, I don't know, more houses for sure. Sandy needs to continue working. Alright. I can maybe start taking some stone if I want to get a forward castle. It's usually a good time to pick up some stone after 3TC has gotten in. And now, well, I've got 2 weak knights. Instead of just using them blindly, I've got 2 knights on like 2 and 1 HP. Let's just bring them home and heal them up with our monks. I actually only escaped with 1. The other one died. Oh no, they're still there. And that gives me just crazy efficiency with my units. So instead of before I was just running my knights down near their units or near their town centers. Oh, I tried to run him back, didn't quite get there. This time I'm running them back to heal them. Oh my god, I got way too much wood. Let's spend it. We know how to spend it. Okay, look at this. Let's spend. Okay. And all of a sudden my resources are completely spent. And my siege is taking out all his buildings. You can even get some attack rounds going. Yeah, does a really good job defending those actually. Very nice. And continue adding in some stables as well if needed. So on the front, some stables can be going down. Very good. Notice I'm starting to play with more speed. Bring those knights back. We'll heal them up. Just such, important steps to take to really get you the edge over the people who know builders like you. Because again, a builder is not going to win you a game at this level. Not all the time, at least. How do you know if additional stables is needed? That's a question in the chat right now. Basically, the rule is you want to continue putting pressure as long as there's damage to be had. I'm constantly killing my opponent's units here. That means there's constantly pressure to be had. That means I need more buildings, or more to add more army, and more stables lets me do that quicker. But right now I have a problem. So let's go back a little bit. I need more gold. I don't have enough gold because that's just my economy has been messed up a little bit, and I keep sending villas to the front for some reason. I'm gonna go ahead and fix that. There's too many villas to the front. It's a little bit of a glitch from DE. That money camp should be one tile away, by the way. Focus on the basics. All right, and continue. Notice how I'm expanding now towards my opponent's base. The reason I wanted to go forward siege is to gain control of the map, but I didn't get control of the map just to be like, yeah, dude. Yeah, I got map control, by the way. I got map control. No, it's not just a flex. You use the map control. Look where I'm building. Instead of building back here and taking a minute to reinforce, I'm building in his face because I have this control. I have the control of this little area here in front of his main gold. So I'm taking him off the main gold, and I'm now pressuring him much more quickly. Still spending my resources at home though, constantly, and constantly attacking him with knights and siege. All right. So again, I know I'm playing a lot faster. I see a lot of guys making jokes in the chat as well. But obviously, I'm at a level now where these things come second hand, and I have a lot of good muscle memory with me. I've got the market here. Yet I'm still making some mistakes. I'm still floating some resources, and I've got to spend those. But if you guys practice as much as I do, I'm sure you'll get there as well. Let's send these guys back to heal. All right, send the monks forward now. Okay, very nice. Yeah, if you guys just focus on these small tips one by one, I'm sure you guys, just by playing more games, will get eventually as close as possible to my ELO. And the AI reacts so well to attack rounds. It knows where you will shoot. Okay, and now I'm getting close to Imperial Age, so let's go ahead and click up the Imperial Age. So I'm going to halt Knight production a little bit to click up the Imperial Age. Okay, there it is. Imperial Age is coming in. I've got 6 stables in my opponent's base. I've got Imperial Age now because I'm slowing a lot of resources. My monks are going forward to heal, and I'm completely destroying my opponent. But instead of attacking down the center like I've been doing this whole game, let's go ahead and spread our army. So I'm going to send some knights down this side. I'm going to send some knights down this side. I'm going to go around his base to the back. And the reason I want to do this is because it keeps my opponent... He doesn't know where to look at this point. I'm attacking him here. I'm attacking him at the back. He doesn't know from where I am attacking him from. So, again, there's just so much pressure going in that he can't handle all of it at once. And that's the whole idea of attacking from multiple sides. He cannot defend everything. And that's what I want to bring up in this game, and more so at this level of 1500, is you want to really spread out your attack, and you want to really attack him, make it hard for him, attack him in different areas. Continue making villages, continue producing. I'm probably playing at like some 2k level right now, but the idea is the same. It's at all levels. Let's bring this guy here. At all levels above 1500, you want to do these things as best as you can, and I'm just able to control it very well and not make my macro slip behind it. But a good tip is just to continue advancing your economy and investing as much as you can, and then now I can actually expand to those resources that I collected earlier or that I discovered earlier with town centers. Look at my scouting. I have full map visibility. Okay. And again, he's losing pretty much everywhere. And at this point, the AI, I'm just going to make him resign. I'm going to make him tap out. And there it is. GG. Very nice. Very nice. GG. And again, it was a lot about adaptation. I have a really nice message in the chat. He said, I've never researched a build order. I play only melee and I got to 1200 in a few months. That just showcases that in the early ELOs, build orders aren't the most important thing to focus on. It's important to find something that you're good at and find something that you enjoy doing. Build orders only help you get to like the 1400, 1500 range, and then from here it's about adapting those. So up to like, he's saying 1200, I would say up to like 1100. Builders are not too important. Builders have to come in at that level to take you to 1400, and then at 1500, that's a lot more than a build order. Guys, there's some really good concepts being showcased here. There's the concepts of booming at home, concepts of going forward with some forward siege to buy the map control, concepts of scouting the whole map all while doing this, concepts of pushing forward with military productions instead of doing that at home, and concepts of healing your knights to take efficient trades while raiding your opponent on different sides. There's a lot going there. Let's tap the GG and hop out of here. Very, very nice game there. I think I showcased a lot of the things that we should be working on at 1500 level to 1600 level, and this just makes you a very solid player.